Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a 15 plus Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me are my co-hosts, Brandon Falinger.
I don't even know what to say. I honestly don't, especially with what's coming up.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
I've just awoken from a fever dream, and I don't know where I am.
America.
There. I'm still in the fever dream. Okay, got it.
Also with us, guys, Stokely.
Yep. That's me.
So, anything you guys want to talk about?
Nothing really new.
It was Pac-Man's 40th birthday like last week, I think.
Holy crap, really?
Yep.
Why do I feel like he should have been older than that?
Yeah.
Like my brain wants to say it's more like it's closer to 50.
Yeah, same. It came out the same year as one of the Star Wars, or the same day as one of the Star Wars movies too, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Q X-Files, dude.
There's a connection.
What does it mean?
Have easy access to it at the moment, but I do have I think it was actually Rachel's, but a Pac-Man PS1 game, and I was trying to check what. Hey, I can easily look it up online. Just what anniversary year that was for Pac-Man World.
What was it? It's
that
funny.
Was fun, dude. That was on what? PlayStation? Yeah.
Pac-Man World was for the 20th anniversary in 1999. So yeah. It should be about the 40th.
Yeah, it came out 1980. Yeah.
What the fuck was it? Hold on.
May 22nd, 1980.
Pac-Man World.
And then Pac-Man Worlds came out in 1990.
Okay, so I did play this, I think. Or at least I played, if not the first one, I might have played the sequel.
I remember getting that for Christmas, Pac-Man World.
No, PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, and PlayStation 3.
Maybe Pac-Man World 2
no,
was
I don't
for
think
Xbox.
So. I don't think it was a PS3 game. It was a game like Pac-Man World where it was like a 3D Pac-Man like platformer or something that I remember playing.
There were several sequels.
Pac-Man World 2. That's the one I played.
Let me see. Pac-Man World. It might have been one of them.
This was for the Xbox.
That one might have been it because I think it was on GameCube.
Yeah. Yeah.
World 1 has a PC port only released in South Korea.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Oh man. Oh, I also got into competitive Tetris.
Uh-oh.
Not like doing it, but watching it.
Oh, okay.
I tried Tetris online, and I'm terrible at it, but I'm pretty sure some practice I can be pretty good. But yeah, there's like a YouTube channel just dedicated to the Tetris World Championships.
Ooh.
They have all the matches. It's pretty cool.
Oh crap, that's right. I still need to release that episode of Random Musings with Brandons about arcades. But you'll probably hear that when it comes out, but did you ever hear of what is it? Grandmaster Tetris, Ryan?
Yeah.
Where it's insanely fast and the pieces go invisible at some points.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I think the game has been out for close to 15, 16 years now, and only like 12 people successfully completed the game.
Holy crap.
Because you need to work your way through all the difficulty levels with your access card that like saves you data, and all through the levels keeps getting tougher, new challenges. You need to do this to do that. 12 people did it.
A whole 12.
Yeah, that's freaking nuts, man.
Yeah. No, totally. They should go look at that lovely little video we did, man, once you post it, just because of, like, we come up with amazing ideas to make arcades come back.
Yes. I'll probably be editing it tonight.
So yeah, so it was ingenious ideas that are free for the taking to make an arcade viable in this day and age.
Yeah. I wish there was, like, arcade. There's the only one I know of is, like, at the Q Mart.
Yeah, there's none by us. There's some that you'll find on the boardwalks and places.
Yeah, that's about it.
And like in like super
Malls.
heavily dense cities,
Yeah.
you'll find them.
And Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. Japan doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Japan. Although I wouldn't want them to stop with amazing arcade games.
Yeah, dude, they have freaking crazy. Dude,
honestly,
they're in like the year 3000 with their arcade.
I feel like a lot of it is their culture, just because it's like rhythm games are a big thing over there.
Mm-hmm.
And you want your daily dose of rhythm games, go down to the arcade.
Yeah.
And there's always weird games like Boon-ga.
What is that?
You know, I was about to ask that, and then I realized, you know what? With a name like that, maybe I don't want to know.
It is a game where the controller is a giant finger, and right beneath the screen is a giant ass. So you need to...
Alright.
You see why I didn't want to know?
So poke people in the ass, scare them, and get points due to their reaction.
Oh, it's the 1,000 Years of Death. I got it. It's like the child game that Japan plays, which makes no goddamn sense.
Isn't that like a thing they do? Where they fucking try to just jam their fingers in their ass, like, through their pants.
Like, it's literally like a children's game.
Yeah.
Which, you know, far be it for me to even attempt to understand why that became a thing.
I mean, I guess ball tapping's not as bad, but yeah. I mean, you're not trying to stick your finger in someone's ass, so I guess I guess ball tapping is like, it may be a step below that.
Orion, I got a question.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the game called The Culling?
No, but I've seen gameplay of it.
So, this is a thing that's been happening lately, and I'm just blown away at the sheer stupidity of this. So The Culling was a battle royale game, much like Fortnite, right? Except it was like one of the first ones, so it was bare bones military shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they decided, hey, it was like, I think 2 years or something after The Culling came out or whatever, and they're like, hey, I got an idea, let's make a sequel. And they started, like, literally, from what I understand, I've never actually played either of these games, but The Culling 2 just threw in all of the shit that everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
And essentially just lost its identity as its own thing. So it fell on its face pretty freaking hard. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because it's been like, 7 years, I want to say, since the last time The Culling was around. Apparently, they've decided to resurrect the original game in, like, I guess what you would consider a remaster or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know what they decided to do?
Just put out the second one again?
No. They decided, I got an idea. Let's go ahead and make this game make a lot of money by throwing some microtransactions in there.
Shit.
And my God, it's one of the worst, one of literally the most stupid idea. Okay, Ryan, what would be the dumbest way you can monetize a game like Fortnite?
Have a subscription.
Monetize the bullets?
No, that would be worse. Although technically this is kind of doing that to a degree.
You have to buy the weapons?
Nope. Keep trying.
Monetize to reload.
You're close.
Oh, you have to buy lives?
You're literally dancing right next to what they're doing.
I don't know.
So their plan, right? So with a game like Fortnite, every time you go in, right, it's a battle royale. You go and see who can, like, obviously who can win. You pay per match.
Wow.
And then on top of that, they're like, look, we'll give you like one free one per day, but you gotta pay the rest if you want more.
Oh God.
Like what was it? It was like they came out with like it's $1 basically for one, $5 for 10, and like they rolled it out further from there, right? So they got a lot of backlash because nobody thought this was a good idea ever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, we hear you, we understand. We'll give you 10 for free per day. How's that?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like I play the Warzone, and I probably only play like 3 or 4 matches a day, if I play at all that day. So I mean, 10 free, but like having to even pay at all is ridiculous.
You want to know what gets better? Because I'm not exactly finished. I forgot to mention this little tidbit.
Yeah.
You gotta buy the game for about $6 first before you can do any of this.
Why?
Because they're quite literally insane, I'm going to assume. It doesn't make any goddamn sense to do that.
Yeah, that's idiotic.
And who's the developer?
I don't remember who exactly the developer is. Let me double check.
It's not Bethesda.
Dude,
no. They were an indie studio.
They should fire like whoever.
Xavient is who they're called.
Whoever like.
Or Xavient.
Yeah, they should definitely get rid of whoever suggested that and like allowed that.
Oh, it was the CEO.
Yeah.
Did I not mention it was the CEO's idea? Like, what the fuck?
Just like some dipshit that's out of touch.
Yeah, pretty much. Nobody's gonna buy that.
Yeah.
Like, the Culling 2 fell flat in its face. They went back to the Culling 1, and now they're trying to basically remaster it into the Culling Origins, I think is the subtitle for this. And now they're trying to monetize it to hell and back.
Yeah.
But you see why I'm saying you were both like dancing around it, because Lives is there but not quite.
Yeah.
And like Bullets is like yes but no, really? Like, it's bad.
Like there's already so many free to play games that are fun. Like why would anybody pay anything for a battle royale game?
Like when shit like Fortnite is around. As much as I'm not a fan of Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite,
Warzones.
Apex Legends?
Apex Legends.
That's not exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah, it is. It's team of 3.
It's not the same though, because you're working with a team. B, if they've got like abilities in and of themselves, like Overwatch, it's kind of a fusion of Fortnite and Overwatch.
Yeah, but it's still a battle royale game. Which is good. There's another game that came out. It's not a battle royal, but it's a free to play game called Crucible, and it's a 4v4, which is really fun. And it's like PvP, but mostly based on objectives. So even if like you aren't good, you still kind of have a chance. But yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
mostly.
bunch.
I still can't believe that, but yeah. Outside of that, mostly I've just been bouncing around between a couple of different games. I'm still going through
Oh,
FF7 original.
oh,
Uh,
nice, dude.
I'm trying to remember where
Have
am
you
I at
played
right.
it before?
No, this is the first time through.
Okay, cool.
I think I. Oh yeah, I just got to Red 13's place. His town, his hometown.
Did you get
Okay.
Vincent yet?
I have not yet.
Ah,
I know he's a thing. I don't know where he's at yet.
yeah.
Uh,
Forget the general layout of the story of the game.
I haven't found him yet.
How do you like
Hmm.
Yuffie?
I mean, it's about the same. She's all right. I haven't really gotten into any story relevant parts with her yet, where she has actually like done something.
Mm.
Whereas Tifa and Aerith have kind of just been there, doing shit story wise because they're main character plot relevant. I haven't done that with Yuffie yet, so I can't say I know how much I like her or not. It'll
Wait
really come
until
down to
the
the.
Golden Saucer.
I was already there, unless you mean like the second time or something.
Oh no, but the arcade in the Golden Saucer will open up as you complete more mini games within Final Fantasy VII main game. And the Chocobo racing. Oh my god, I love the Golden Saucer.
I have a feeling that that's going to be one of the best places to just like make lots and lots of money. From what little I got while I was there the first time. Yeah, I've been bouncing around to that. I dropped back into Dark Souls 3 a little bit just to like. I started on a character that I had begun building but never got finished with building. So I'm like partway through that game, and I'm just like, let's drop back in here. And I've been getting my ass like easily handed to me just because I'm like, all right, I got to remember how to play.
Oh man.
And then I also started like a new Civ 6 run. The new DLC for that came out, but I've heard that like there's a lot of buggy shit with it.
Mm.
So I've been holding off on purchasing that. And I'm like, I'll just play the one I've got so far. Like to the point where I've heard that apparently like again, this was just on like a Steam review I was reading where it's like, oh man, I downloaded this and now I literally can't launch the game. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll wait till that bug is fixed.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I got a Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord.
I've been looking at that. I'm waiting until that goes on like sale, and then I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I liked the first one, but I couldn't really like get super into it.
Yeah,
because I was terrible at it. I need to like learn the mechanics and shit.
Yeah, I'm still learning about how to even like start a road to being a king.
Mm-hmm.
Like I found an army and I joined it, and there's like a fight like every other day, but I'm just trying to like level up my characters, tributes and stuff right now. But I still have no idea what's actually going on in the game.
Oh yeah, I'm still going through Baldur's Gate 1 too for the first time.
Oh my god, dude. Wait, like the where you control a party of 6?
Yeah.
Dude, I was playing the second one and I died. My entire party died to one wolf.
What?
It was like, dude, it's like the hardest game I've ever fucking played. I've literally never gotten past like the first mission where they're like, the old dude who's your mentor is like, go to here and talk to this guy, he'll help you. You like get 2 screens over and you're just getting murked by like wolves and like bandits, and then these wizards, these space wizards that come and they're like, yo, we know what you did. And you're like, what are you talking about? And then they just murder you. It's freaking ridiculous. I don't even know what the game's about.
Did you not play the first one?
I played the first one. Well, yeah, the same thing happened to me in the first one.
I noticed that too, but maybe it's because I've played Pillars of Eternity, so I know this style of game now based on those two. But like, It's definitely true that at early levels, you are going to get fucked if you don't have a full party.
Yeah.
You need the full 6-man team to even take on some of the weaker enemies. Because you will get mauled.
Like, the wolf
Like, what
killed
was
my
it?
6-team party.
What was it? That happened to me. I had a team of 4, and a bear just took out everyone. And I'm like, okay, all right, sure.
Yeah, and then it's just like you're dead, and then just kicks you out of the game. You're like, what?
It basically says, like, do you want to reload? Like, I'm playing the enhanced edition, so there's probably some added extra bonuses and balances that have been done into that. But yeah, I reload it. It'll let you go to immediately like reload where you were at prior. Like it'll give you your list of load options.
Yeah, the one I played just like took you back to the title screen.
Yeah, it was probably the original then.
Like, what the fuck?
And sorry to cut you guys off, but before this turns into an episode of random musings with everybody, do you want to go on to the main feature?
Yeah, I'm just about done. Give me like a minute or two more. So yeah, I just wanted to say that like I finished up some of the DLC stuff for that. I'm on chapter 7 of the original game, and then I do have the expansion. I forget what it was called, like Legends of the Sword Coast or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I'll probably be getting into after this. And then I've got fucking Baldur's Gate 2 waiting on me at some point. I don't know when I'll get to that. I don't know when I'll get to the DLC specifically either, because I think I can put that off. Like, it's its own special thing where you just have to import your old character from the first game. So, yeah, I think I'll probably just end up like putting that to the side for a minute, jumping onto like what I'm also working on here, and just go from there, and eventually get back to it.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it so far.
Well, speaking about things that are really ridiculous, how about the 2018 movie Batman Ninja?
Yes.
So you have seen this movie, haven't you?
Yes. Yes.
Then he's the fever dream. He's been there.
Dude, it was probably one of the best animated movies I've seen in a long time.
I think we should mention that the guy that did the original JoJo's Bizarre Adventure opening did this movie.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, everything in this movie was so awesome.
Except the story, because it makes no goddamn sense.
I don't know, man. Like, roaming cities, dude, like all the villains had their own cities, like moving tank cities.
That was
awesome.
My biggest problem with that is just like it broke my suspension of disbelief. Yes. It completely destroyed that, because it's like, all right, I can buy that like one of them has this, but to make that entire fortress like that in feudal Japan is never going to fucking happen.
Over 2 years.
Even over 2 years, it would never happen. All of their like metal ore deposits would have been wiped out. Their iron ore over there is garbage. Like, as much as people love the katana and shit, the reason it's folded 1,000 times to make it strong is because the iron's garbage. You need a factory to make that shit. Where is the factory that's making that shit for the fucking, like, giant robot?
Yeah, but, yeah. I mean, it's still...
I'm not saying it's not cool. I just have a problem with the way the story's composed. Everything else is amazing. It's visually awesome. The character dialogue's great. The sound is great. I love the music. Everything else is, like, perfect. But, I mean, if you were just gonna go full Gundam with this, why didn't you just make this, like, an alternate dimension or, like, future Neo Japan?
Dude, but then Batman... You're like, so what's Batman gonna do? Are we gonna first? Or I don't want to like. That's like towards the end. So, but like, the Bat Clan. Dude,
I'm not opposed. I like the Bat Clan. The Bat Clan shit's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, but that whole thing is great.
At the end of the movie, well, I guess it is towards the end when they're fighting and He just turned into a giant Batman.
Yeah.
Like all the bats.
And don't forget the monkeys. The monkeys are in
Oh
there
yeah,
too.
and the monkeys, dude, they came.
Fireproof monkeys.
Yeah,
That was there's a point, right, where the entire ship explodes and it's like, oh, the Joker's dead. Cool. It sucks for Batman, but I mean, like, hey, it wasn't his fault. He had no control over the situation. Woo. And it's like, awesome, he's dead. Cool. Villain gone, essentially. Great. And then it's like, but we can't kill the Joker or innocent people. Actually, literally innocent people could not be killed. I'm trying to think of any innocent person that was killed in this that we could legitimately say for sure was killed. And I can't think of a single one.
Yeah,
but apparently monkey deaths are fine as they're burning to a crisp as they get hit with a giant flamethrower.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that, but
no, it's just an
inconsistency
I like to point out where it's like monkeys can die just fine, but humans, nah, can't show that.
Were they really just like dropping off the body?
They're dropping off the giant monkey body.
Because I watched it like when it came out, like as soon as it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were dropping off the giant monkey body. Like they were using the one arm to shield like the others, and then you just saw monkeys falling off of the arm.
Damn, that's right. Yeah, man.
Littering the ground with monkey corpses.
That's freaking. And did he get the monkeys from Wukong? I forget who the hell.
Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla Grodd, yeah.
Which makes me wonder because like that flute wasn't tech; it was clearly some kind of magic.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Grodd's all science-y.
And an interesting thing is, this movie is dubbed differently in Japanese. Like, the dialogue, what did we read, is like 85% different.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if the Japanese version explains things better.
From what I've seen, like, I've seen a few clips. Well, not clips. I've like watched the Japanese dub a bit to see how the dialogue is different, but I've seen it's just alternate readings of the line. There's like puns that may work better in Japanese and better in English due to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Batman's line was like 7 against 1. I like those odds. And I think the Japanese line could be like, you know this won't change anything between us, don't you? So, there's changes like that. Like making the Joker a little bit more Joker-esque. And in the Japanese dub, it did sound vaguely Mark Hamill Joker-esque.
Yeah.
Now, like, we can start this from the top where it's like the time travel aspect, while interesting, is done poorly. Because it's like, all right, cool. The closer you were to the machine, the earlier in the time period you show up, right? That's kind of what was established. Where the fuck was all of the Robins and Red Hood that they got there earlier than Batman?
Yeah?
Where were all the villains situated that they got there earlier? Because the closest person was Grodd.
Where was Alfred?
Where was Alfred? Why did Batman not know that Alfred was in the Batmobile? I feel like that would have been something he would know about. Like, Batman's already a martial artist to begin with. Why would he, like, not be aware of some of the ninja techniques that are there? Obviously, the, like, ninjutsu, like, turning into a cloud of bat shit, obviously he wouldn't know. But, like, the martial arts aspect of it, I feel like he'd be able to incorporate real quick. How the fuck does the Batmobile have, like... Actually, I lie. This one would come down to when the fuck Alfred showed up to begin with, because I would have to question how long was the Batmobile just sitting there not being used without gasoline or without a refreshment of gasoline, because gasoline goes bad. And obviously, when you let a car sit, the battery drains. Like, it doesn't stay perfect. Like, I'm poking tiny little holes in this movie, but there's so many.
So maybe Alfred drove it around.
Was he just having a joyride in the Batmobile? Was that it?
Oh, how do you work this bloody thing?
I need to get to the club. My lady's waiting for me. I just show up in a nice, smooth ride.
Oh. And I think this was done in one of the Christopher Nolan movies where the Batcycle launches from the Batmobile.
Yes. I don't know if that's a comic thing or not, or if it was strictly done in the movie first. But I want to say it was something that's been done in the comics already.
Because didn't the Batmobile turn into the Batplane and then into the Batcycle?
From the Batmobile to the Batwing to the Batcycle to the Bat Armor, which is ludicrous that it's able to do all. It's just a fucking Transformer. It's a Transformer. It's Batimus Prime.
Oh my god, Batimus Prime.
Obviously, the giant castle is Jokertron.
And Sumo Bane?
Sumo Bane out of nowhere, who never shows up again.
Who suddenly just speaks in pure Japanese.
Yeah, who's just Japanese.
Not knocking him for keeping the same Japanese voice actor, but why?
I'm wondering if it was like, we're not hiring someone for just a single like line or two of dialogue.
Well,
in which case I would ask, why don't you just get one of the people you already hired to voice the two lines?
Yeah. And then maybe just use a bit of like ADR to like pitch it down if it's not deep enough.
Yeah. Joker was great in this. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see more of his like fan blades more often. We only really got that gadgets. The first time.
Yeah.
That, and I'm kind of disappointed we didn't see the like the other villains all that much. Like we got a shot of them like building their castles at one point, and then just the giant robot fight at the end.
Yeah, I just remember like Poison Ivy, Penguin.
That's my thing, right? That's one of the things where I'm sitting there. I'm just like, who would actually have the best situation here in feudal Japan?
I feel like Poison Ivy.
It would totally be Poison Ivy. All of those plants that have not been like torn away for cityscapes and shit. She's got a full range of nature to work with.
Yep.
Like she'd be the one. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that the Joker would be literally terrorizing everyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got called the Demon King was fairly apt. But like, yeah, Poison Ivy would literally be a fucking one-woman army with all of that nature that she could just work with. Then you have Deathstroke, who's just like, I got weapons. He uses swords. He could probably do a decent, like, you know, samurai or something.
Yeah.
Or at least a swordsman there. I don't know how well Two-Face would work out in feudal Japan if we were like talking seriously about it. Catwoman would probably be fine. She's a fucking thief. She'll be just fine.
Penguin might be kind of screwed.
Where the fuck did he get all the penguins? He had like a penguin army. Where'd they come from?
Yeah!
There are no penguins native. He would have had to have like, unless they got teleported with him or something, in which case, why did he have a penguin army with him when he was going to Grodd's place?
They got traffic there.
But like, if he got him from that time period, he would have had to have gone to like Antarctica or something to get them to come up. There's not a zoo he could just steal them from.
All in 2 years, remember?
To a place that, by Japan standards, would be completely uncharted.
Oh my god, this movie was fun. Yeah, but I think I have a stronger suspension of disbelief than you, so I'm like, okay. Penguin has penguins. It's a thing.
I could have let it go. I could have. It was literally when all of them had giant robots that it broke. Dude, the entire thing broke at that point.
But that's like the coolest
there's no way you could get all this shit together.
Yeah,
there's no way. Like, Ivy I could get if she's got the giant plants the way it looked like. I could buy Ivy just because of the giant fucking plants. I could buy one of them because Grodd was like, all right, cool, let's do this. But we're in a fucked society where metal is kind of shit. I could get one castle and I could get one with Ivy's plants. 5?
What did you say something?
Nah. Yeah, go ahead, Orion. I'm sorry. I kind of stayed there.
No, I don't know. They could get that much stuff. I don't know how big those cities were though.
But most of that shit was like wood and stone, not metal.
Yeah. But dude, the Flintstones did it. So
the Flintstones also didn't exist when dinosaurs existed.
Yes, so Flintstones did it. Flintstones did it.
Like, I have all these tiny little pinprick problems, and it just makes a giant hole in the plot by the end.
I don't know, dude. I really enjoyed it. Like,
oh, I don't blame you for enjoying it. I'm not shitting on you for enjoying it. I'm glad you can enjoy it.
I didn't really notice like any of those problems.
See, actually. And this comes from me being like a bit of a older history buff like that shit, where it's like stuff like this. When it gets to this point, I can't anymore. I can't suspend my disbelief because it's just you're stretching it so far. Let's not even mention the fact that apparently monkeys can make a giant mech out of themselves. Which, while yes, if the giant robots weren't a thing, this would have been fun, and I'd have been all over that. But then we get the bats and the monkeys that make a giant Batman.
Yeah.
That somehow survive fire better? I don't understand.
Man, like, imagine those are cities, dude.
I can't.
Like, all the things are just roaming cities. Like, if they were just
but it's monkeys and bats, and the bats don't even have armor like the monkeys did. Like, I could almost buy the monkeys surviving better with armor.
Yeah, well,
but the bats don't have that.
Yeah, they had. That's why the monkeys were there.
Yeah, but the whole outside is bats, not monkeys. Like, the bats are taking the brunt of the flamethrower at that point.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can believe the roaming cities. They're cities, just if they weren't stationary. Size of like big kingdoms.
Like, I do love the fact that when it transitions over to like the Joker and Harley who have like lost their memories, it goes to like a watercolor style and it looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But then apparently the Joker knows he can hypnotize himself to not, be insane, and knows a plant will bring him back somehow. Like, that was a big gamble to guess that you could actually do that.
So did he test it out? Did he get, like, intel from Poison Ivy?
I have no fucking idea how he knew that would work. And even if he would test it out, I would assume that Harley would be there to get him back. But there's no guarantee she'd be able to do it anyway.
And God had some, like, mind control via Go?
Yeah, that apparently didn't work on the Bat Clan for some reason. Which...
Bats can't be affected by that.
I mean, look, all right, my suspension of disbelief does hold to the point where it's like, all right, cool, they got mental training, good, I can buy that. I'd be willing to buy that. That one would still hold with me. I'm still able to buy the fact that they have Gatling guns, like the whole warship that the Joker had at that point. I can still buy that, just because Grodd was like helping him out at that point. Because Grodd basically said, like, hey, I've been helping everyone because I'm the one that's been puppeteering the whole thing.
And the Joker has his human army with him?
I guess. His human army, which then got transferred over to Grodd because Grodd took over the place that the Joker was holding for a while.
And I don't know where in the Bat storyline this actually takes place, but Robin was Damian, who is Batman's son. So the question I was having, why is Selena being so flirtatious with him if Batman is indeed married with a kid?
Yeah, and the thing that, like, we don't know. We've never seen Batman's wife, at least in this movie. We don't know what his situation is in that regard. We don't know whether or not she is, like, dead from childbirth. We don't, like, I don't know that character well enough to know what the lore is with her.
I think there was something where Talia, who's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, she somehow stole Batman's DNA and impregnated herself with, like, modified sperm somehow. That I'm not 100% sure about, but I think 90% the notes I'm hitting on did happen in some iteration of Damian.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, like, once we get to Damian Wayne, my knowledge of Batman starts, like, shriveling away. And mostly I was never a comic reader. I was more of, like, the shows, which, as far as I can remember, Damian Wayne never showed up in too much. Like, he was never in Batman the animated series. As far as I'm aware, he never made an appearance in Batman Beyond. I don't remember him ever in The Batman. I think right around the time that we started getting to, like, the Silver Age version of, like, campy Batman shit, Brave and the Bold. It was around that time that I think I stopped watching, like, Batman shows.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most of the TAS was Dick Grayson.
It was Dick Grayson, and then Tim Drake. It got to Tim Drake. I don't remember if
Jason.
I don't remember if Jason Todd ever showed up in TAS. He might have, and it might have been like a movie special or something, but I don't remember for sure.
No, because I do remember in Revenge of the Joker.
That was Tim Drake.
Yeah, that was Tim Drake in there.
Whether or not, I don't remember Damian ever showing up as far as, like, Batman Beyond went too, because that kind of carried forward that continuity.
Yeah.
And I don't remember Jason Todd ever being in there, but, you know, my memory could be hazy. Mm-hmm. I'm more than willing to admit that I might not remember it.
Maybe in the comics.
Mm-hmm. But let's also not forget that Terry McGinnis is a genetically modified Damian Wayne, essentially.
And did you notice that he voices Red Robin?
I did. I noticed that right away. I'm like, oh shit, I know who that is. It's fucking Terry McGinnis. Got it. Cool. Great bringing that back as a nice reference.
From all the holes you've poked in this movie, I didn't really care about them all that much. Like, I just rolled with the punches going, okay, now this is happening.
No, I'm glad there are people that can do that. I can't once you break a certain level, and the giant robots in feudal Japan are what did me in, just because of all the shit I know about feudal Japan.
Okay, that was borderline pushing it for me, but I'm just going, okay.
Oh, so what about the part where they all became a Megazord? Wasn't that enough to break you? I'm
no
like,
way.
Wait, hold on. We can make all of these things, but now they can also unite into a Megazord?
Dude, I wanted, like, more enemies of Batman's to show up.
Oh my god. I honestly, I think I would have preferred this if it would have been like a 6-episode miniseries. Because I feel like they could have spelled things out better as to how some of this shit happened and the way it happened. And they could have given some more time to the other villains.
Yeah, they might have yada a lot of stuff, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, you would have gotten a chance of like Batman fighting each of the other individual villains as well, not just like the Joker and eventually like what, Deathstroke or Two-Face, one of the two.
Yeah, I forget
And
which.
and like a little bit of Grodd. You'd have gotten him fighting like each individual person and trying to poke holes in their defenses.
Yeah.
And plus, you'd actually get to see like what those enemies would do in this version of events. Like, how would the Penguin fight at this time period with what he's got? How would Poison Ivy be doing? Right? You'd get that.
I would have loved to see Mr. Freeze here.
Oh, Mr. Freeze here would have been sweet.
Yeah.
Especially, it's like, oh man, Mr. Freeze teams up with the Penguin, and it's like, now I understand how the fuck he got those penguins. Mr. Freeze just made an ice bridge. Done.
And
I'll
ice
buy
bridge,
that.
Yeah.
I'll fucking buy that one.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Freeze would have been really cool. Like another big. Solomon Grundy is not a big villain.
No,
really.
He's not.
So Mr. Freeze is like probably the only other big one that they didn't.
I mean, Ra's al Ghul himself, but at this point, I think he would have been dead in the continuity.
Oh, yeah.
And something that I found out that Grodd started off as a Flash villain.
Oh, what would have been so cool is if they brought in Scarecrow.
That's
Scarecrow just using his fucking fear gas on everyone would have been amazing. Because, like, right there, he could have been like Scarecrow could have been like Ninja Man. Because it's like you're using illusions now to fuck with people. Like, he could have had his own ninja clan at that point.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if they ever do a Batman Ninja 2, that Scarecrow could be unstoppable.
Scarecrow would be fucking the population.
Oh, and what's the electric dude?
Oh fuck,
Electrode or something?
I don't remember in Batman's Rogues Gallery. I can't remember the electric dude.
Don't remember him having an electrical baby.
Oh, never mind. I might be thinking of Spider-Man.
That would probably be Spider-Man, because you have Electro.
And Shocker, which are related somehow?
What the hell? What is what was that recent Spider-Man movie with not like the two latest ones, but with Garfield?
Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, where Jamie Foxx is I think he's Electro or Shocker maybe. That's where I think I was thinking of that.
Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through like some of Batman's Rogues Gallery quick to see if I can like. Oh, Clayface would have been interesting.
Yeah.
If he could like, I don't actually know specifically how well Clayface would play with some of this stuff, but he would be interesting at the very least.
It would be a Clay City, just the rolling mud hut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Killer Croc. That'd have been interesting.
Yeah, Killer Croc would have been sick.
Fucking Mad Hatter would have been sweet.
Yeah, that too.
Man-Bat wouldn't have worked.
As a callback to one of our previously discussed episodes, good released Pop Team Epic figures of Papaco and Pamimi dressed as Batman and the Joker. Because of course.
What about Riddler? How would Riddler work out in this?
Oh shit, I forgot about Riddler.
Riddler would be interesting.
Dude, damn, that's why Batman's like the only good DC superhero. He has the best villains. Everybody else has like one that just counters them. It's just like their weakness.
I'm still like searching through this Rogues Gallery to see if there's any other ones that I'm really like aware of. Oh, you know what? The Ventriloquist.
Yeah, I was thinking of him, but wasn't he from Batman Beyond?
No, there was one in Batman the Animated Series too. I don't remember if he had a specific name in that one.
He was like the puppeteer or something like that.
Yeah. He would have been neat because fucking like go back then, if you want to pull some Naruto shit, you could get giant puppets.
Yeah.
And wasn't he the one where the ventriloquist dummy was the dominant personality?
I mean, there was dominant and submissive, yeah. And the puppet was basically a fucking
Mob boss?
mob boss, yeah.
Oh, I do remember him.
He was only in like one or two. He was only in a handful of episodes, but I always remember him because he was always such a cool idea.
Let's just go back to Gorilla Grodd's plan of removing all the villains from Gotham City so that he could take it over himself. If he was planning to send away all the villains,
there weren't enough of them there.
Right. And that would mean Batman would always be after him, focusing on Gorilla Grodd. Oh, Gorilla Grodd's just broke out of jail. Time to go after him, rather than 8 villains break out of jail at the same time.
It's true, Batman at that point would have been laser focused.
So, for being such a supposed genius, Gorilla Grodd really didn't think that plan out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good plan in general, because with Batman dead-eyed focused on you and his attention not, diverted elsewhere, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, and on top of that, like, what... I forget if he actually said where he was originally going to send them. But I mean...
I forget.
I didn't watch enough of the Japanese dub to find out if he said that.
I don't remember if they said so in the English dub either, but they could still fuck with the timeline. And this is where like the hokiness of time travel starts fucking with the story in and of itself, because it's like, cool, you saved Japan, Batman, everyone goes back, but there's still giant fucking robots laying around in Japan in the feudal era.
Yeah, in like a giant field.
Like, that hasn't changed. New technology has been introduced before it should have been there. Unless, and obviously, again, this is time travel bullshit where it makes it hard to write the story correctly. Does the timeline heal itself once the invading people have been removed from the situation? Does it reset? Or do we have like a Dragon Ball thing where it's now a separate timeline all on its own?
I think I'm more for that one.
It's honestly the easiest one to make sense with. Because if that's the way it's playing out, then Grodd's plan of just sending them back in time at some point is perfect. Because then he doesn't have to worry about them fucking with the timeline at all.
Because I've heard a theory of time travel that your time machine is locked to the frequency of our timeline. So even if you change it, you will go back to our timeline as if you didn't do anything back at all. And the changes you made will create a new timeline.
I feel like that's the way it was explained in Dragon Ball Super. When Future Trunks came back, where it's like we're still locked onto the old timeline. We can't touch anything or it's gonna, like, we're gonna go to the wrong place. Like, it's why when he goes back in time to like give Goku the medicine and shit and then returns, nothing has changed. The androids are still in his timeline.
Yeah.
It's the same idea in that regard, where it's like, you're locked in here. You can change the frequency as to which timeline you will go to, but you will always return to the same one. But yeah, that would be the easiest solution to that time travel problem there, is like, you've altered the timeline and now it's in its own separate era. Which would be cool! You know what? That should be Batman Ninja 2. That should be it. We're in the separate timeline now that was created because of fucking Gorilla Grodd's time machine. And like, we get Bruce Wayne of that timeline now.
Okay, I'm just reading the Wikipedia note here. In its American release, writers Leo Chu and Eric Garcia have admitted to rewriting the film from its original Japanese script written by Kazuki Nakashima, ultimately making two entirely different versions of the same film.
See, that's why I was wondering how much difference was between this and the Japanese version. Because I read that too on the wiki. Because I was looking to see if it was based on a comic at all.
So, we will not be doing a deep end of the Japanese cut, but on the line, I might have to eventually watch the Japanese dub and see how different it is.
I'd be curious to see some of the. I'd be curious to do some research on it and just see what the main differences are. Because I mean, unless they're cutting out sections of the movie, that's all the animation we're getting out of this.
No. During my line comparisons, with the exact same length.
That doesn't mean that they didn't change things at other points. Like there could have been a part like in a completely new scene somewhere in the movie that they either added or took out or altered.
Okay, because down to the second, the Japanese and American versions are the same length.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant. All right. That doesn't mean they couldn't have shortened or lengthened stuff for, line reads.
Right. Although I did see once the Joker's back was turned, there was a line added in English.
Yeah, that seems to be the case a lot of the times when America dubs things. When there's meant to be silence, they want to fill it with some kind of voice line or sound effect or something. I've noticed that a lot when it comes to like transitioning from a dub from an original Japanese to an American dub. They tend to want to fill in those blank spaces. They don't like leaving like no sound.
Although I did see one of the Japanese lines was the Joker complaining about Batman committing deforestation by dodging his knives. Fans.
That's actually a pretty good one because I was honestly thinking that too as it was happening. I'm like, huh. Well, I guess there's more lumber now. That's a pretty good joke. I kind of wish that was included in the American one.
We talked about the robot fight. We talked about Gorilla Grodd's mind control. We talked about how the heck did everybody get back to feudal Japan, even though Batman was more like, hey, you're here too.
We talked about like why the distance made a difference and where those characters must have been in order for that distance to make sense.
Do you think if Batman would have spent less time trying to escape the time portal, he would have got there sooner?
Well, it wasn't that he was trying to escape. If I remember right, Gorilla Grodd like threw him further away, and he was trying to get back toward it. That's how it happened. So it wasn't him trying to escape the blast. It was him like trying to rush in after getting tossed backward. What else was there? Oh, there was a thing that you mentioned too before when we were talking about how like he tries to pretend to be like a Christian missionary, but he's literally carved the bat symbol on his head. That's a giant giveaway. I'm sorry, that's not a good disguise. Especially with shit like, and obviously at that point we didn't know it, but shit like the Bat Clan existing? I mean...
Yeah.
Come on!
And how did the 4 members of the Bat family all show up at Gorilla Grodd?
Yeah, especially, Red Hood, who tends to go off the wall. Like he nearly did with the Joker and just outright murder him.
Yeah? But just the fact that it's like, oh, we need to include these characters.
Well, here's the other question then, right? Where the fuck's Batgirl?
I thought she wasn't in the movie.
She's not. That's why I'm questioning where is she?
Huh.
Like, is it at this point that she's taken over Commissioner Gordon's role? Is she still working with Batman at this point? Is it like fuck, I forget which one that was, but there's a point where she becomes like a cripple and becomes Oracle.
I have no idea.
Crap,
and is like running the Bat Cave. Like, is that a thing at this point? Is she Oracle right now? Like,
didn't in some iteration of it she was a thing with Dick Grayson?
I think that was in Revenge of the Joker or Return of the Joker. I think that was in the Batman Beyond movie that like it was more in flashback when that happened.
Okay.
But I think that was a thing, at least as far as that movie's concerned. I don't know for a fact how much of a thing that is in the comics.
Because I remember in the Batman, Robin was like 5-6 years younger than her.
Yeah, I think they messed with the timeline a bit in that regard.
Yeah, just the fact of him shaving the bat symbol when he was supposed to be a Christian missionary, I'm like, that's a dead giveaway, you're Batman.
A Christian missionary that's, supposed to hide his own identity.
Yeah, right?
Like, yes, obviously no one in Japan is going to notice that, but any one of the villains is going to see that and know immediately. And
this guy's Batman.
That's also assuming everyone there isn't already on the lookout for a bat symbol because they're, under control of the villains because they're the fucking daimyo. Like, all of their forces are going to be on the lookout for a bat.
Yeah.
Like, just the common sense aspect of that situation.
And you said you didn't watch the mid-credits sequence of Catwoman going to an antique shop with all the stuff she stole from feudal Japan and saying, oh, I have a reliable source where I got all this stuff. She gets off on a motorcycle, and Batman comes around in a horse-drawn Batmobile.
That's awesome.
Where did they shit?
Oh, speaking about that, I was watching Daikea 3, and they mentioned goat yoga, where you have...
Yeah.
in the instance of goats. And I'm like, what happens if you're doing yoga and a goat just shits right in front of you?
Or farts.
Just keep doing it.
That's the challenge. It's not the yoga itself, it's surviving the goat gas.
Like baby goats, they just stand on you and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, but not as weird as this movie.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I would love to watch the Japanese dub, see what's different. If
I got super hype on that last battle between Batman and Joker. That was sweet.
If you...
Also, I would have... Sorry, one last thing. I do have to question how the fuck the Joker knew that the broken blade was going to pierce Batman's body. How did he know that was going to come down right there?
If you know all the differences, please post in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts on what you thought of this movie.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I just have a very hard time once the robots start really kicking in, like buying it. If people enjoyed this, I am so happy you can. It broke my suspension. I can't after that.
Typically, is your suspension of disbelief broad?
Usually, it can be, as long as there's continuity within like what's going on. Like I said, if they had just dropped lines like, "Oh, this is a different like dimension version of feudal Japan," I would have been a-okay with any of this. It's because it's taking, or at least from what I'm understanding anyway, taking place in legitimate historical feudal Japan that I start drawing in the issues with how broad of a problem the robots become.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, all it would have taken is just them saying like, "Oh, this isn't the Japan that is from our history. This is an alternate history Japan." That would have been more than enough. I could have been writing off literally almost all the problems I have as just like, oh, okay, it's literally completely different.
Yeah.
It's the same cultural shit, but like anything that would make these big ass robots. Yeah, sure, Japan just has all of that. That's fine. Whatever.
I don't know. I think it did, like, it cleared all that for me when it's just like a Batman movie. But yeah.
Yeah, but Batman always like sits with science. He's supposed to be the world's greatest detective. It's why he can get through all this shit, and it's like now we're throwing the history out the window now.
I think in the Japanese and English dub, he looked at his scroll and said, "This is Japanese."
I mean, Japanese / Chinese is very
similar.
I'm not that it's very what's the word I'm looking for here? Unique in its writing style. While whether or not he's able to decipher Japanese between Japanese and Chinese, hey,
he knows Mandarin though, I think, right?
He might. I'm not sure.
Isn't that where's Ra's al Ghul from?
I always want to say like Romania, but I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, I forget where his like thing is.
Like I can buy that Batman would know, like at the very least it's definitely Chinese or Japanese on just first viewing. Because no other writing style uses kanji or katakana or anything like that. At least as far as I'm aware, like most of the other places that are around there would use either Sanskrit or something else. Like they're the only two countries I think that use that system of writing. So I can buy that he'd know it would be one of the two. And because it's fucking Batman, he's probably had to look into this shit before. So he probably would know it. So that one, I'm like, oh, Batman's the fucking greatest detective in the world. Of course he'd know this shit. Like, it's like a common thing.
But if he's the world's greatest detective, wouldn't he know the Joker is trying to pull something off on him with the hypnotizing himself?
As far as I could tell, there'd be no evidence of him ever doing that before. Nor would there be any evidence that, like, it was done. He'd need something to go on, and as far as hypnotism's concerned, I don't think there'd be any evidence of it.
I agree with that.
But I love this movie. If you like crazy Batman shenanigans, watch this.
I mean, I'll recommend it to people. I don't have a problem recommending it to people.
Yeah, I give it like a 9 out of 10. If there was more of Batman's villains in there, it would have been pretty cool. But
like I said, I feel like a miniseries would have been way better for this.
Yeah.
More villains, hash things out a little bit better with the story.
Yeah, like a 4-part.
I would say 6. Make it 6.
6.
Double up the length. Make it a 3-hour thing.
Yeah.
Rather than an hour and a half.
I guess this wraps up this episode. Be sure to watch our game playthrough. It's going to be the end of Cave Story the week we're recording this, with more frustration, I guess, in the upcoming puzzle game, The Witness. Any comment on The Witness, Brandon?
I guess the best thing I can say is that hedge puzzle was still my favorite. Those hedge maze puzzles. Those are my favorites so far.
Be sure to check out any other random musing video that may come out in the near future, with food and arcades being the ones I still need to edit because I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to editing videos that aren't games or this series. And I guess we'll say next time we'll have to recover all our memories because we can't remember a damn thing.
What are we remembering?
Who are you people?
Oh.
What year is it?
Newspaper. Old man yells at clouds. Says, give back memories.
Is this Japan?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Oh my god.
Are you my grandson?
Oh my god. So until then, everybody, catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Later.